Welcome, everyone, to People on Dating. I'm your host, Will Morales. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is about the ups and downs of dating and how to navigate through it. Today, my guest is Caleb Birkhoff. Caleb he utilizes his diverse experience working with individuals, couples, and families in a host of settings to support you with your unique circumstance and needs. Caleb draws from behavioral change models, structural family therapy, emotional focus therapy, and exploration of family of origin to help them develop agency in your life and work towards a greatest life satisfaction. So today we got Caleb Birkhoff. Caleb, did I pronounce your last name right?
Nailed it. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So, Caleb, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. What was your journey like to be, I guess, like a couple, family, individual kind of therapist, coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that journey like for you?
Well, I wish I had a really compelling story, but I don't. It sort of turns into one at the end. Most therapists like had a really good experience with therapy or sort of already knew they were going to be a therapist. I'm a therapist, like essentially as a result of a Google search. So I got an undergraduate degree in psychology, which turns out means essentially nothing. If you want to work in the field, you got to get a graduate degree. And so I just sort of like Googled what I could do with an like an undergraduate degree in psychology and go to grad school. And so I like narrowed it down and built a spreadsheet and ended up applying to some MFT programs and became a licensed marriage family therapist in the state of California in 2016 after graduating in 2012. I didn't intend to work with couples. It's sort of a thing that happened through work I did other places. So I worked at rehab and we did a lot of we call like collateral contact, but like joint sessions with people, like my patients with their partners, and really liked the dynamic. And so when I left working for somebody else and started working for myself, I was like, I want to see some couples. So
Right.
a little bit of advanced training in that, but I see probably 12 to 15 couples a week, and it's been a lot of fun.
So, does the couples are there age ranges from young couples to older, 20s to 50s, 70s, 80s? What would be your uh age range that you cover?
I'd say most of the couples I see right now are probably in their 20s and 30s. There's a
Okay.
handful in their 40s and 50s, although historically have seen some folks in their 50s and 60s. So a little bit across the like developmental lifespan.
Okay. You know, look, when we contacted each other to have you on the show, and I'm glad you on. I see through whether it's online searches, YouTube videos, it seems that whether first of all, I want to backtrack a little bit. Do you deal with individual couples too? In other words, not married, boyfriend,
Hmm.
girlfriend. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, definitely. Not every like some premarital counseling, some marital counseling, helping parents negotiate kids, old and young, but also definitely people who are dating or getting engaged, living together, various stages.
Okay.
Definitely.
So because I'm seeing that status seems to be the norm now for couples, especially for women seeking a partner, whatever. And it's not I'm seeking a husband, I'm seeking a partner. Have
Mhm.
you noticed that too? Is that a trend or is that just wordplay? Of what are we seeing here? Because it seems that whenever I see that women are looking for a, a not a husband, but it's a partner now. Can you elaborate that a little bit more? Because I'm not sure if I'm seeing what I'm supposed to be seeing. I don't know if this is clickbait or whatever. So please.
I think the word partner is like, I don't know, is helpful, right? It's like thinking about somebody that you're gonna like join a life with, and not somebody who's gonna like quote unquote take care of you in this context. That
Right.
the quality of that person, the quality of the relationship is more important than the end goal. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are still working in heterosexual relationships, but also non-heterosexual relationships, working towards marriage and getting married.
Mhm.
Um, but that I think the thing I've actually appreciated as a couples counselor in this is like an evolution of marriage being part of a process and not a destination. I think a lot of
Mhm.
people historically have focused on like getting married, forgetting that at the end of that you're married. And there's like a marriage and a relationship to work on and tend to. And so I would say like the semantic shift into partner is really more about like trying to manifest like I have somebody to do this with. I have somebody I like can rely on, and we have interdependence. There, I have strengths and weaknesses, and they like complement one another.
Okay. Yeah, because and then I'm seeing where a woman might be in a marriage, but now she's not happy. She feels trapped. I saw a video the other day, Caleb, and this young lady must have maybe in her early 20s, late 20s, early 30s. She just picked up and left. I'm going by what she said.
Uh-huh.
And she just felt trapped. She didn't feel herself. She needed to find herself. So she left her husband, her kids, and moved to another state completely. Um, are we finding that some women are just not meant to be married, or they feel that they have to get married to satisfy uh people around them, especially family? Go ahead,
I
Caleb. I
think
already see you. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think in a lot of like younger folks who are married, and obviously it's different, right? Like I live in San Francisco. There's
Yeah.
a different like social expectation or norm about like
Hmm.
when's the right time or how long is too long to wait, and et cetera, et cetera. But I do find that for a lot of folks in their 20s, um, they end up doing like the thing that they're quote unquote supposed to do, right? It's like, well, we dated, and then after dating, we move in together, or maybe not, but it's like,
Hmm.
or we get engaged and then we get married and then we have the kids and buy the house, right? It's like this progression of supposed to, or what I ought to or should be doing. And I
Hmm.
think that sometimes it works out great for people, right? Like they have a plan, the what I'm supposed to do, what's culturally appropriate is actually the thing I want to do. And then some people, the supposed tos are incongruent with like what they're trying to do or an evolution of self, and they move through those check boxes pretty quickly because we get a lot of feedback from the outside.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, you just got engaged when you, right? Like the first question people get asked when they get engaged is when you get married. It's like, oh, we just did this thing, right? Like I don't like let people settle into being engaged first.
Right.
um so I think a lot of people often like sort of wake up and are surprised about where they are and how they got there. And I think for some people it's really confrontational and be like, oh, like this is not what I wanted, or this isn't what I thought I wanted, and it turns out it's not. And like in that way,
Mhm.
it can feel really confining.
Are you seeing that more of that phenomenon where somebody gets married, especially on the woman's side, and they realize, maybe this is not for me. I want to be single. I want, the buzzwords I'm hearing, Caleb, is I want to find myself. I don't know myself. I want to explore. I want to travel. Again, are we seeing marriages now where I think, I don't know if it's 10, 20 years ago, and you probably know better than I do, where 20 to 22 people were getting married. Now it's being pushed back to 29, 30, 28, 29, 30. Are you seeing that? Is it because whether it's a man or a woman that they want to find themselves?
I think there's an element of find themselves. I think we're like more psychologically minded now, and that
Okay.
like that there is more possibility. I think there's also, I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't mention like getting married and starting a family, like buying a house. Like it's harder to do now, right? It's like
Mm.
we're not people aren't buying houses in early stages of career anymore, right? It's like it
Mhm.
costs more money. Paying off your student loans is not like it's harder to do. And so I think
Yeah.
some people are really waiting to feel more set, more maybe not like a finished product, but have a sense of predictability in their future that a lot of young folks are not feeling right now.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think I mean the parallel I draw is like for the longest time the American dream was like to own a home. And it's like at some point it's like, is that my dream or is that just the dream that I've been told is supposed to be my dream? And it's like,
Right.
is marriage, I think maybe getting married later is potentially like allowing people to realize like, oh, this is the thing I really would like to do as opposed to the thing I'm supposed to do again, right? Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, and finding ourselves or sort of like going on adventures. I think there's a misconception that people can't or aren't allowed to do that in marriage or in a long-term partnership. It's like a sustainable long-term partnership like allows for like evolution and growth and change and some level of negotiation around independence. And so like if we examine the construct of marriage and like how that's changing, it might also change the way that people feel in them.
Right. Or is social media playing a part in
I think social media is playing a part in everything, William.
listen, I believe that because I, now a woman's criteria, especially their long list of criteria, what they want in a partner or in a husband, is you gotta be over 6 feet tall, you gotta make over six figures, you gotta have a six pack, you gotta. It's like an endless list of demands that a woman are looking for. Is that a realistic thing? Or so again, like you said, we both agree social media has a lot to do with this, but how realistic is some of this stuff when you look at the statistics? What is it? Somebody said like 10 to 12% of men are over 6 feet tall. Only 15% of men, if I'm correct, make 100,000. So it's such a small percentage. How realistic are these goals for these young ladies? I know it's a little bit off topic, but
No, I mean, I think that, but it's like, I think in both directions, right? Like anybody seeking another partner is social media is like really curated, right? Like
yeah,
I mean, the example I like to give people, and this, I don't know what this reveals about me, but when I go to IKEA, I like to sort of like figure out like, or at least predict like who might have a fight about building this later, right? But it's like, social media is like the presentation, right? Like, we
yeah,
built this bookshelf, but like nobody takes a picture of them screaming at each other. So it's like
right,
you get this like false sense of like what the world's like. Everybody has that friend who we all know does not work very much, but's like always in Bali, right? And you're like on vacation again, right? So it's like there's this presentation of like what the ideal is, or what even just like the ideal of the moment is. And so like what we're looking for, or what people are looking for when they're dating, or when they're looking to find a partner, or looking to maybe see to evaluate like, is this the right person for me I'm in partnership with? I do think the like the feedback that we get or self-inflict through social media can often
yeah,
really skew like what is real. Like there are, I mean, I don't know the statistics about people over 6 feet tall, but there's not tons of them. 6 feet's like a sizable person. And so
right.
if everybody's looking for somebody who's 6 feet tall, then like, is everybody 5'10" like out of luck? Like that doesn't seem very realistic.
Yeah,
But like wanting, I think there's, I don't know, silver lining, right? Like I think there's some benefit to like thinking expansively, thinking about what
mhm,
might be possible. But I think there's also like we got to do some reality testing of like, are all these things possible? And then with anything, or in a relationship, buying a car, buying a house, like we got to make some compromises. And so, what things are we willing to compromise, and what things are we not? Like, where are our boundaries really firm and appropriate, and where are our boundaries like, maybe that's like that one's not really going to work. And so, I always encourage people to consider like how does it make me feel, which is like a very therapeutic question. But like,
yeah,
does this person like add to my life? Do we have common goals, common values, common directionality? Are we able to communicate? Can we set boundaries? Are we like, where do we, like, where can we negotiate things that are challenging? Like, how do we work in tandem? Because
mhm,
whether you're making decisions about money, about kids, about housing, about where you live, like, whatever, like these, all these different priorities, the chances that you're going to meet somebody where all of your things align is basically zero. And so
right.
where we're not aligned, or where we're like negotiating a discrepancy in something, like how do we do that? Do we do that well? Does it feel good to like make a compromise, or do I feel like I always give up ground to this other person who never appreciates it?
Well, good point. Now, and going back to boundaries, um, how prevalent is that in a relationship where somebody might have, their set of boundaries, but the other person is a little bit more open and letting their boundaries cross or get crossed?
Mhm.
Uh, you know, how can they align then? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I
Did my
think there's
question make
like,
sense at all? I mean,
yeah. Well, I guess like the one thing too is like there, like therapy speak has like become very I don't know, mainstream, I guess is the word we use for it, which is
yeah.
often like misused or weaponized. And so, like, thinking about like boundaries are like the things that I need and that I like negotiate with you, not things that you need to do for me. And
Right.
so, like, if we have healthy and appropriate boundaries, we're sharing with other people where we like emotionally end and begin, and like what they can expect from us around those
Mhm.
sorts of things. And some boundaries are negotiable. They're more permeable. We can soften them over time. And some boundaries aren't. And so, like with other people, making sure that our boundaries aren't barriers, that making sure we're not inflicting things on other people, but like letting them know like how we expect to be treated. And if they
Right.
can't meet that expectation, there's like a consequence attached to that. And so again, like when people are dating and in relationship, trying to make evaluations and decisions about how serious those relationships are, how much more serious they want them to be, like what other people do with your wants and needs and your like sensitive spaces and your like dark secret stuff or your really exciting stuff, like it's data in which you get to evaluate like is this a good person for me to be in a relationship with.
Mhm.
And I think it's also important to point out like that some of these things change, right? Like not everybody's a finished product. We are creating little cultures in a relationship, and so, like, can we build a culture? Does our culture come together? Like, not expecting your first date to be like an instant click, like, oh, of course, we've already negotiated all the hard things, right? It's like we have to
Right.
like shape them a little bit.
Yeah, and we're talking with Caleb Birkhoff, and today's topic is about working with couples. Now, if you work with couples that are have that age gap type of relationship, I can see you laughing. So, because I'm seeing that now a little bit more out there that people talking about it. What do they have in common? What do you talk about? I think it's grooming and all that. Uh, when you if you do work with couples like that, how do you get them? Is it possible to get them on the same page and not listen to the outside noise from social media?
I think so. I mean, like the grooming topic is tricky, right? It's like then we're also then you have to sort of examine like when did this age gap relationship start and like how vulnerable was the person or how much power differential might there have been.
Hmm.
I think age gap, like, we cannot have those things be synonymous. Like,
Right.
plenty of people in their 30s meet somebody in their 50s and, like, fall in love, right? Like,
Yeah.
and they probably weren't groomed for that relationship. I do think being able to consider, that, like, one of the it's counterintuitive, but one of the like best ways we can create emotional intimacy with other people is to have separateness and have individuality and be able
Hmm.
to then share the things that I love that maybe you don't care that much about, but what I actually need from you is for you to love that I love it. And so that like
Hmm.
in that concepts, like the generational divide, like you do need some things that overlap and some interests to bring you together and values, etc. Right?
Yeah.
But like being separate is not inherently bad for your relationship. It actually can create a lot of closeness and connection. And so, whether that's music or art or interest or career stages or whatever, it's like there's a place where you can find connection in that and not just be disconnected because you're 20 years older than somebody else.
Right. Okay. No, that definitely to me that makes sense. I
Mhm.
think it's just when I hear about the age gap type of dating, and some women that always say, "Do not go out with these old men," and I'm putting it in mildly. And I figure, people do have things in common. People do like, a woman might like an older man. A man might definitely likes a younger woman. It's just to make sure, that I guess you hear the word grooming and controlling. So you hear those buzzwords now.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah,
if we're trying to evaluate it, it's hard to like be in other people's relationships, right? We like
sure.
do a lot of comparing my insides to their outsides, right? It's like, well, what would I do with that? It's like not very helpful. And so really starting to get into a sense of like if they appear to be like consenting, happy, like free or like free of choice people in these relationships, it's like letting people make decisions that they feel are best for them. And if we're
Right.
concerned about somebody, it's like wouldn't be that awful to talk to them about it, but like trying to peel the judgment off of like, well, they're much younger than you. What are you, or they're much old. It's like what do you like about them? What do you like about this relationship? What don't you like about this relationship? Right? Because I think the dynamic you're talking about is like again this like hierarchical power differential, which is often
Right.
related to money. And so it's like, are you stuck in this relationship? Are you trapped in this relationship? Are you
Mhm.
manipulated in this relationship? Those are questions that are much more uh, interesting or helpful to have answers to other than like, well, why are they so old?
Right, right. First of all, Caleb, I want to thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I really appreciate it. And
Mhm.
before I let you go, anything else you want to touch base on before I ask you where could people find you and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing I'll say is relationships are hard.
Yeah,
All
100%.
of them, they're all a lot of work, right? So, like, healthy relationships are a lot of work, unhealthy relationships are a lot of work. The kind of work you're going to do is very different. My suggestion to people is like make sure you're putting in, if you're putting in work, put in work for a relationship that's healthy and fulfilling, but also sort of mutually fulfilling between you and the other people that you're in this relationship with. Like relationships that are self-serving often end up not working out that well or being very unsatisfying. Um, and I guess the last thing I'll say is like therapy is not necessarily life support for relationships. There are a lot of people, a lot of couples that come to therapy as preventative maintenance, wanting to get ahead of something, wanting to set up good traditions, good skills, good boundaries, good communication, and thinking about it as a place to potentially enhance the relationship that is already going well, or to
Right.
like work on one that is maybe not going so well. But like anything, I can't believe I'm going to quote my father. Like you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Like your participation in the process is essential.
Yeah, no, definitely makes sense to me. And if somebody want to get in contact with you, what's the best way?
The internet.
Okay.
You can find me at the practice I work at and co-founded with my partner, goldengatecounselingservices.com. We're based in San Francisco. We have an office in San Francisco, but we also see people virtually across California.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's, we're just a Google search away, basically.
Yeah, I'll definitely put it on the show notes. Well, again, Caleb, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I really, really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, listen, it was my honor. So take care.
All
All
right, you as well.
right, bye bye. Hold on.